Alright, and awesome! Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to Cal Plays on Crosswalking Kobolds. Today we're going to be doing some art. You may have been seeing me go ahead and play with the overlay some. Just trying to clean it up for today. I forgot to do a Who's That Pokemon. I forgot that I needed to update the title until like 10 minutes before stream. And I'm like, shoot. So, yeah, you guys got to see a little bit of behind the scenes on how I update all that stuff. And I hope you've been having a fantastic day. Let's see here. I'm also realizing that I haven't tweeted out that I'm live yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. Copy link. Go to video producer. You go to Twitter. Dum ba dum. Ba-da-dum ba-dum ba-da-dum ba-da-ba-dum ba-dum ba-da-da-da dun da-da-da-da-da bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. Okay, I need to pull up. I've joined this group of loosely affiliated online streamers, and I'm just trying to get them tag pulled up here that I'm supposed to be putting in things. Here it is. Okay. Hashtag plump community. There we go. Oops. Not plum. Plump. There we go. Okay. This should be into. Alright. And tweet. And post in a bunch of Discord channels. Live now. Paste and return. One of these days I'm going to get my own Discord channel. I'm already working on it, I'm just not there yet. Okay, this isn't in the appropriate channel. Where'd it go? Here we go. Safe for work gaming. Okay. Paste. Send. And... oh, shoot. There's somebody I'm supposed to DM to. There we go. And then to let my mother know. Do. Alright, and now we can really get started. Sorry for that delay while I just finished up some last minute things there. But we now have our stream ready. So let's go ahead and look at making a new overlay. So when I'm creating a new overlay, I always start with a blank canvas of 19 by 20. And it always comes with this black background. Always. I do not like this black background. Well, sorry. It comes with a colored background. Now, the reason I don't like it is when I go and try to erase, it doesn't actually get rid of anything, and that's because when you're actually setting up a new project in GIMP, if you open up the advanced options, by default, it fills with background color, when really I want it to fill with transparency. But that's fine. All we have to do is we have to hide it. No big deal. Not a problem. And then create a new layer that we're going to call base. This is where we're going to put the first thing that we're going to build on. And for this, I always like to start by going to render, going to noise and or pattern or fractals, just going in here and choosing something. Something that we can build off of. I think I want to go with plasma effect. Alright, there we go. See, I never end up actually doing this, but I always check, what does the higher turbulence look like? You see, yeah, no, I don't like that. Lower turbulences? Okay, that just makes it softer. I really think turbulence of 1 is really just the best call there. Alright, cool. And then we're just gonna hit new seed a few times until I get one that I like. Let's see here. Okay, that's not a bad shape. Alright. Then I hit OK. And I go to colors. And the first thing that I want to do... Nope, oops, not color balance. I want to go to the hue and saturation. And I want to take the saturation and remove it all. Because what I really want is this. This is where I want to start. I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. We're just going to call it... we're not going to give it a unique name. Base 1's fine. And I think I want to do a gradient of some form here. See, let's go with that nice light blue. And to counter it, let's go with a nice dark purple. All right. And I want to go ahead, I think, let's go ahead and do a gradient. Okay, I want this to be foreground to background RGB. In this particular case, anyways. And then I'm going to go ahead and set this to bilinear. And... ooh, you know, I don't think I've played with this much. Let's get the gradient down, and then we'll look over that some. Okay. So this one is our midpoint. And this one controls the stretch of the purple. So the further I take it out, the further it lets the purple spread. The narrower I make it, the less it lets the purple spread. Now, this is a really cool effect for some things, but I do want it to be wider. To like about there, because I want it to be more gradual. Let's play around with this repeat. Sawtooth, no. Triangular? Yeah, I could do that. I might do that. Let's flip the colors. Yeah. Bring this in a little bit. Okay. Yes. All right. Cool. Now I'm just going to click on the move button. That saves this in place. Now, you might be wondering, like, why did I create this and this? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with this a little bit here. We're going to play around with the opacity and the type of blending that it does. I am interested in seeing what it looks like with pin light. It looks terrible with pin light. Oh, wow, that looks bad. I mean, the purple stripe, the blue stripe, and this other purple stripe don't look too bad, but this ugly brown stuff in the middle? Eesh. Okay, what about a hard mix? Nope. Linear light. Okay. That's interesting. I could do something with that. Let's see here. Vivid light. No, I don't like these strong impressions here. I mean, in theory, I could get rid of them or find a way to make use of them, but I just really don't like how strong these impressions are. Let's see here. What am I set on right now? Vivid light? Let's go hard light. Okay. That's getting more like what I envision. Alright. Cool. Soft light. Nope. Overlay. No. And I'm just going to click through the others. Though I'm pretty sold on hard light, I am just going to go ahead and click through the others just to kind of get a feel for what they do. This is helpful for when I'm trying to think of, like, ideas of what I can do for other effects as well. Just seeing how different things interact. I actually am very surprised by this. But by seeing how the different types of blending of layers actually affects the way it looks. It can just give me ideas to use in the future. So that's just the inverse of the previous one. That's something to keep in mind. I could maybe do a nice layered thing with that. Split, no. Merge requires me to lower the opacity. Erase, color erase. No, dissolve, and normal. Now, of course, I do also have the option of just lowering the opacity, but it doesn't give the same effect. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and set our blending to hard light. Where did the hard light go? Right here. Yep, hard light. So now what I'm going to do, I don't want to screw up my gradient or my cloud, but I also want to play with this as it looks currently. So I'm going to go ahead. Actually, before I do that, let me play with lowering the opacity some, see if I want to. No, not really. Lowering the opacity is just causing us to lose color, so I'm going to leave the opacity at full. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and go to Layers and New from Visible. Then I'm just going to hide these two. Now we have one layer with all of those effects on it. So now I'm going to go into our filters again and start looking for something else. I will usually blur at the end. I usually don't play with any of these blurs until we get closer to the end, mostly because they're just not the things that I like. Like this, I don't even see what it does. If we, like, what I use most often is the Gaussian blur. I know that there are some things that will use other blurs, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's see what would happen if we did a circular blur here. And you see it's creating this kind of radial thing, right? I presume I can mess with it here. Yeah. Yeah, I can mess with the angle of the blur. Yeah. But that's not really what I'm looking to do. So I'm just going to press OK. And then I'm going to press Control Z because I accidentally did it. I meant to press cancel. No, what I want to look at more is these other effects. I think I specifically want to go into artistic. Let's take a look over here. Oh, let's see. Let's take a look at the soft glow. I've always wanted to find a use for the soft glow. Yeah, I don't think I actually... You know what? Let's just press OK and see what... No. Nope. Nope, I don't like that. Okay, cool. Back into artistic then. Let's see here. Soft glow, water pixels, cartoon, clothify, impressionist, photocopy. No, I don't think so. Predator effect. What does the predator effect look like? No. No, I see how that could be useful, but no. No, that's not what we're looking for today. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this layer, though, because I might use that later. Oh, shoot. That doesn't... Tisk. Well, hold on a second. No, it left the original layer, so I don't need to do that. Okay, delete this. Interesting. What if I play around... No. No. Overlay. No. No, I don't think I'm going to use it in this piece. I'm not going to delete it, because I may come back for this later, because it is really nice looking. But it's not what I'm looking for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out, or hide that rather. And I'm going to go into my filters. Not all filters will create a new layer like that. That's only some of the filters. But I'm going to come in here. Maybe artistic is not where I want to be then. So let's go ahead and check out some edge detect. Difference of Gaussians can be useful. Oh, oops. Helps if I'm clicked on the correct layer. Let's try that again. Repeat difference of Gaussian. Ooh. No. No, that's not what we're looking for. Okay. Let's see here. What if we go with an image gradient? Ooh, no. Okay, so edge detect isn't going to work for us today. Let's see. Oh, I forgot I don't have chat up. There we go. Now I have chat up. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see here. No, see, these are all more for photos and stuff like that. It's not really what we're looking for. Maybe a distort. What's newsprint do? No, no, that's not what we want at all. You know what? Color model? Let's go to RGB. No, that's kind of harsh on the eyes. Yeah, no, we're not going to do this one then. Okay, cancel. All right. This, honestly, is probably the hardest part, is just kind of trying to figure out how I want to distort this in order to get a nice effect. And I'll often play around with a lot of different things. Emboss, page curl, wind, whirl and pitch, waves. No. Spherize, shift. No. Ripple. Polar coordinates, newsprint, mosaic, kaleidoscope, lens distortion, engrave, emboss, and apply lens. No, I don't think I'm going to use any of those this time. Light and shadow is a pretty much useless category for me. I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, I can add lens flares. if I want to. I can create a bloom, whatever that means. But at the end of the day, it's really not what I'm going for. Most of the time. I have found it useful in some projects to create a lens flare, but not often. Let's see. Combine, artistic, decor, map. What if I do a paper tile? Oh, no. No, 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 no. No, that's not okay. Okay. Alright. Alright, that's fine. Let's see here. Map. Map to object, tile, warp. What's Little Planet do? Yeah, no. How's that different from the polarized one? Okay, no. Oops, filters. Map. Recursive transform. What is that? Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to play with that. I'm good. Thank you. I figured out what that is. It's not what I want to play with for this. Okay. Panorama projection. Do a panorama viewer rendering mapping. Or its inverse for... No. Little Planet illusion. Fractal trace. What does this look like? There we go! That's the sort of thing I'm looking for. Look at that! Look at that! Okay. Huh. What happens if we change the Abyss policy to clamp? Okay. None? Oh, no. Nope. I see. Okay, I understand what it means by Abyss policy now, and honestly, loop, I think, is the best option. I'll stick with that. Let's see. Fractal type, Mandelbrot or Julia? Let's go ahead and try a Julia. See what that ends up looking like. I like this. I like this a lot. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take that. We're gonna say okay. But we're still not done here. We've got a few more steps to do. First of all, I want to sample this background for a few swatches. I use swatches to kind of make sure that I'm keeping everything within color theme as we're building the rest of the overlay. So before I distort this any further, I'm just going to go ahead and grab some of those colors. So, let's see here. I will grab my color picker. I'm going to start right here with this purple. I really like this. Let's reset that. I really like this purple right here. A little higher. Yeah, that one. Okay. And so I'm going to take that. I'm going to create a new layer that we are going to call swatches. And I'm just going to grab my paintbrush and just paint a swatch. Cool. I'm then going to grab my color picker again, go to visible, and I want another color of that purple, a brighter one. So I'm just going to click right here, and I'm going to switch back to the paintbrush, and I'm just going to put it down here. We can see that they're related because they're right beside each other. I'm then going to grab my color picker again, And I want to grab this blue. And I will paint some blue onto the swatches layer here. Always double check that you're on the swatches layer when you're painting on the swatches layer. Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna color pick. Want this blue right here. Okay. Are there any other colors from this that I want? Let's see. Yeah, I think I don't always do this, but I think I'm gonna go with a really dark purple that's almost black. Oh shoot. See? Painted that on my background by mistake. Okay, cool. And then we'll go ahead and we will also grab a really dark blue. If you're using GIMP, you can hold Control and scroll on your mouse to zoom in. I'm just sampling a couple of these blues, making sure I'm getting the one that I want, because there's not a lot of area with dark blue. A lot of it turns to dark purple. But I think that one will do as my absolutely dark blue, my almost black blue. I may not use all of these colors, but I'm about to distort this background in such a way it might be difficult to pick them out again later. So I just want to make sure that anything I want, I grab. Do I want an almost white blue and an almost white purple? Yeah, just in case. Let's see. Color picker. Grab this one. And swatches. And then color picker back to our base layer. Looking for an almost white purple, like right here. Cool. Oops. Scrolled out too far. Okay. And then we're going to go into swatches. And we are going to go ahead and grab a brush. And we're just going to paint this here. So now we have 8 different colors on our swatches. I'm also going to go ahead and just for my convenience, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come up here to Layer and Crop to Selection. And then I'm going to press Control-Shift-A just to get rid of the selection. But now I can move this around. I've got a nice yellow box around it when it's selected, so I can clearly see whether or not it's selected. And I can move it wherever I need it, so it's not in my way. For now, we're going to hide it, and we're going to come back to visible. And we are going to duplicate this layer so that we don't lose the original one. If we decide 5 steps down the line we don't like what we have, we can always go back to that one. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to go to Filters, and I am going to hit it with a Gaussian blur. Okay. And I'm just going to press Control F to Gaussian blur again, and again, and again, until it almost gives you a headache to look at it. Now, why would I do that? Because I want this to hide. I don't want this to be the focus. I want it to look nice, but I don't want it to distract from the content. So, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and File, Save. I have a folder that I like to use, the shared folder. I'm going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this back. Let's go overlays unused, because we haven't used it. So, yeah. What do I want to call this one? I think I'm going to call it Purple Loops. And save. Okay, cool. We now have our Purple Loops background. Now we've got to build the other overlay resources. So the first thing I'm going to want, because I do gaming content, is I'm going to want a place for a capture card. Now for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly, from my other computer, find a screenshot. I don't see one on my other computer. Let me check on this computer. Do I have a screenshot from the game? Videos. Not from... Hold up. Yeah, no, not from the game. Nope. Okay. So, let me just find one that I can use then. Oh, Okay, so this is where I'm going to do something you guys can't see. I'm just going to quickly go into the Pokemon game. I'm going to put that on my dock and open up my capture card. Shoot, I opened video editing software, not capture card. Dang nabbit. Close that. Oh, yeah, you guys can hear the capture card now that it's hooked up, right? Okay. Come on. It doesn't want to grab it because it's... Alright, you know what? I think I've actually got one anyways. And I'm just blind. So, yeah. Never mind. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a screenshot from Pokemon and just drag and drop it in here. There we go. And you may recognize this as a character that recently is no longer useful. So why do I have this? Because this is a 1080p screenshot. Yeah, it's the right shape and size. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scaling tool. And I am now going to bring it down to probably... It's a vibes-based thing. It's not like a specific thing. If I want to, if I want to be precise, I can come up here and do 50% and say, yes, my stream will be 50% size. But I wouldn't want to do that. I'd want at least 75% myself. Let's see. Actually, is 75 too big? You know what? It's a little big. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna not do the 75%. I think that's actually too big. Let's do perhaps 70%. Oops, wrong one. This one. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Lots of room for borders and other stuffs. Okay. Now we can start getting to actually creating the overlay. Now, I want you guys to notice, when this is off, this should be headache-inducing. This background should be headache-inducing. The reason why is because your brain doesn't know where to focus. So it keeps trying to focus on different parts of this. And because all of it has a Gaussian blur, your brain doesn't know how to focus on this. At best, you're going to land over here somewhere. But as soon as we put this on, suddenly your brain knows to focus on this. That's why I always put on a few layers of Gaussian blur, because you don't want, you don't want this. Because now, this background is suddenly distracting. Look at how vibrant the colors are and how much they stand out. But if we just throw some blurs on it, suddenly your brain automatically knows to focus on this, because this is what's in focus. But yeah, that's the reason for doing that. Oops. You always want to do something to make sure that your brain doesn't focus on that, because that is not the focus of your stream. The focus of your stream is you, or your game, or your title, or anything other than the background. The background is there to accent what you're actually doing. Let's see here. I'm going to set some image borders. So I want to stay away from 10 inches, sorry, not 10 inches, but 10 pixels from the edge. I just find that things look cleaner if you have a nice clean 10 pixel border. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some guides. I'm going to go into here, image, guides, new guide. Not new guide by percent, but new guide. And I'm going to say 10. Okay. And that put a 10 pixel guide at the top. And then I'm going to go images, guides, new guide. I'm just going to be lazy, switch this to vertical and say okay. And there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into image guides. Now, for this next part, you actually do need to know the dimensions of the image. If for some reason you don't know, you can come into here. Mine are always 1920 by 1080 because that's 1080p. And I always make my overlays in 1080p. If they get scaled down, fine. I don't want a situation where I'm using a 720 back overlay with a 1080 stream. It's just not a situation I want to be in. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go back to image and then guides and new guide. And so we're on vertical. That's this one. Vertical is 1080, so I'm just going to say 1070 and say okay. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to set the move tool to pick a layer or guide, and I'm just going to drag it off the edge, and it goes away. And then I'm going to switch that back to move active layer, or I'll forget to do that later. Okay, and then I'm going to come back here up to image and guides, new guide. That's actually the horizontal one, because horizontal is the lines that go from left to right. It's not its position. Anyway, hit OK, and now we've got one across the bottom. And then we're going to go image, guides, new guide. We're going to go 1910 and horizontal and OK. Now, you may have noticed that that didn't appear anywhere, which means I screwed up. How did I screw up? By not setting this to vertical. Okay. There we go. Nice. Now, I want to be clear that nothing is going past these borders. I am not saying that this is going to sit on a border. That actually sets it too close to the edge for my taste. And it doesn't look very nice. That just makes it a floating box on the screen. Which, well, that does help with the focusing issue. We could accent it better. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try out something new here that I haven't done before. We're going to start by alpha to selection. And then, I'm going to go ahead and go to select. And I'm going to grow this selection. Now, right now, on my current overlay, the thickness of these borders is 20 pixels. I did 15 on the grow in order to get the exterior, and then I reselected the alpha. You'll see what my method in a bit. But basically, however thick I want the borders to be, I want this to be 5 pixels less than that, so that I get a little bit of overlap without a lot of overlap. So what I want to do, I don't think I want to do the 20 thickness on this one. I think I want this one to have slightly thinner borders. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one to 10. Okay. Now, another side effect of that, the larger that you grow it, the larger, the bigger of a curve you're going to have here. Like, if you look at mine, you'll notice there's a nice strong curve on the outside of each of the corners. But here, oh, you know what? I've actually got that open over here. Let me just, I'll grab my unused border. So this is a border that I'm not using and actually isn't finished. So let me hide that one. Let me pull back up the gameplay. Here we go. So if you look at this border here, this is a nice rounded corner. How round this will become more round the larger that you grow it. So keep that in mind. If you want to keep a sharp corner, you're probably going to want to grow at like 5 pixel increments in order to try to keep that sharp pixel. So grow at 5 and then 5 again and then 5 again until you get to the growth that you want. It'll be more likely to keep that corner structure. But I digress. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this one border shape. Okay? Okay, cool. And I'm just going to go back to black so this, because I don't want to leave it like this. And I'm going to grab my bucket, which for some reason GIMP has moved these into groups. I want to figure out how to ungroup them. But, you know, whatever. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our screenshot here. We're going to alpha to selection. And this time we are going to select and then shrink. And we're going to shrink it by 5. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to border shape under my layers and press delete. And now we have the shape of the border that we're going to be using. Control Shift A. There we go. So as you can see, we have slightly rounded corners. They're not as rounded as the ones that I'm currently using, but they are rounded and nice sharp corners on the inside because we shrank it instead of grew it. So now that we've got this border, we can start editing this border and start making something of it. And what I want to do is I want to go to my gradient tool, and I'm just going to change this white to a gray. Okay, cool. And instead of bilinear, I want to go ahead and set it to shaped dimpled. Try something a little different. Normally what I will normally use is I will normally use shaped spherical. So that when I come in here and I go alpha to selection, and I just do one of these, oops, wrong layer, right click, alpha to selection, there we go, and do one of these. It's hard to see because I've chosen too dark of a gray, which I'll fix in a moment. But as you can see, it just does almost a pipe shape all throughout. If we didn't have this interior deleted, then it would do the entire thing, and we would just be seeing a border from the edges. But by cutting out that middle piece, we now create a nice almost pipe effect, and that's what I'll normally do. Since I'm right here, I'm going to go ahead and whiten this up some. Okay, and I'm going to swap. There. And now, as you can see, we have a nice gradual pipe effect. There. Right? But that's not what I want this time. This time, I'm going to play around with some other things. This is shaped dimpled. which looks more pipe-like than I would have expected, actually. I'll have to keep that in mind. That might actually be better than using shaped spherical. Shaped angular? Yeah, with this narrow, you can't really tell that angular is different. It's very different. See, if I zoom in, can you see? Yeah. See, so this is more focused on creating a rounded look, whereas shaped angular is going more for a corner, you might say, or a rectangular look. Shaped dimpled is supposed to be... Yeah, I don't know why shaped dimpled looks like this in this format, but it's something I'm going to play around with in the future. Not today, though. I like spiral. Spiral's a fun one. Do I want to use spiral? You know what? I want to use spiral. So we're going to use spiral. Yep. Okay. Cool. And, oh yeah. Also, be careful you don't accidentally say press Control-Shift-A while you're doing this, because if you do, it will just completely throw off the entire thing. So never get rid of your selection until you're finished. I want it to originate up here. Yeah, look at that. That creates a very interesting effect. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to click onto the move tool. You know what? I think you can press return. Yes, you can press return to solidify it. You know what I want to do? I'm going to go ahead and create a layer group. And we're going to call this layer group game capture. And I'm going to put this in there, and I'm going to put this in there. Now what this allows me to do is I can click here, and I can go to the move tool, and as long as I'm set for move the active layer, now when I go to move this, because I'm selected on the layer group, I move the entire group. This is where I've forgotten to layer crop to selection. Oops, not selection, not selection, layer crop to content, which is different from layer crop to selection. Crop to content basically just cuts to anything that is not transparent. But now we can put this here, and we can see how this is looking in our overall picture. If I want to, I can go into view, and I can turn off show guides, so I can see what it looks like without the guides. I already have a pretty good idea of what this looked like, and it's not quite where I want it yet. I'm going to put the guides back on. Show guides. I wonder, are you guys seeing... You guys don't see the menus. Huh. Well, that's interesting. You guys don't see the menus. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll see if I can find a way to change that in the future. No, you know what? Let me try to change that now. Let's see. Double-click the window capture method. Let's do Windows 10. Okay, hit OK. So far, it looks pretty much the same. But does it grab the menus? No, still doesn't grab the menus. Let's see. Change it instead to BitBit. Dun 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 dun. Nope. Okay, I'm not sure why, but I can't seem to get it so you guys can actually see the drop-down menu. Sorry about that. You're just gonna have to take my word for what's there. I don't know what else to say. Okay, but back to this. I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer here. And I am going to go ahead and I am going to go to my swatches. And I'm going to grab a couple of these colors. In this case, right this minute, I'm going to grab this blue. And I'm going to grab this purple. So now I have this blue and this purple up here. And then I'm going to hide the swatches again. And I'm going to go into my border shape. And I'm going to zoom in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the paintbrush. And just undo that. I'm going to right-click this and alpha to selection. And then come back up here. I'm going to select a different brush. I want a fully hard brush. I like it when my brush is fully hard. And I'm just going to brush in this circle. And like so. Okay. And then I'm just going to go ahead and flip my colors. So now that I'm painting with the blue brush. And you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and create another new layer. I might be overcomplicating things, but I want to make sure that I don't accidentally go over this purple, and I don't have a way to lock it in. So I'm just going to go ahead and put blue underneath, like so. Yeah, no, that's pretty much a... Okay, yeah, no, I had that right. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing here on this side, because this is part of the same spiral. Except now my brush isn't... Okay. Just a visual glitch. No problems then. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and merge this layer down using this button here. Oops, sorry. Merge this layer down using this button here. And then I'm going to create another new layer. Right now I'm not worried about the names. Once I'm finished with the game capture border, I will worry more about names. I just want to see if I like this effect first. So now I'm going to paint this next one purple. Okay. And then again, I'm just going to go ahead and merge this down. And I'm just going to repeat this process until I have all of the circles covered. So we're going to create another new layer. Okay. And we're going to flip the brush. We're just going to grab over here. Oop. Just trying to be careful to not go over this line too much. I want as much as possible to stay in this line. Do 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 ba do boo do. Just trying to get it right up there without being too obsessive over it. Okay. And then once again, we're going to merge a layer down. Okay. And then I'm going to create another new layer. And we're going to flip the brush. And we're going to paint with the purple. From here to the left. Then we're going to scroll down to the bottom. And we're going to do the same here. Okay, cool. And once again, we merge down, and we create another new layer. We flip the brush. Oh, and in case you guys are wondering, I'm making sure to always create the new layer below the top, the layer that I just merged down. This way it ensures that when I do this, for example, nothing shows up. I can't paint over it. But if I were to hide this, you would see that blue. That doesn't matter because we're merging down. Do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Da-dum. Ba-do-ba-do-ba-do-ba-do. Do-do-do. Do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do. Okay. Now we've got that one taken care of. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to merge this one down. And we're going to create another new layer. And we're going to switch to the purple brush again. You may have noticed that we're almost done here. Do 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 do. It's not uncommon for me to spend hours on one little detail like this, where I will just obsess over like how exactly I want something to look. We've already gotten past most of those potential points, so don't worry too much about it. But like this, what I'm doing here, sometimes I set myself objectives that are just ridiculous. So depending on how much time you want to sink into it, make sure you set reasonable task for yourself. Don't spend 3 hours on something for minimal effect. Unless you want to. If you're having fun with it, go for it. I always do. Alright. And we're going to add one more layer. And this one's going to be pretty easy because we don't have to worry about hitting the right spots on the edges. The other spots are already done. And then we're going to, once again, merge down. Alright, now, what have I accomplished? Am I replacing this with this? Well, no, of course not. I'm going to go ahead and lower the opacity here. Oops, I lowered it too far. The blue's showing, but the purple's not really. So I'm just going to bring this opacity back up. And I'm going to go into mode. And I am going to see screen. Screen's not really what I'm looking for. What's the equivalent in the dark? Multiply? Yeah, that's not really it either. What about addition? Subtraction? Or burn, I guess? Linear burn? Why is there addition but not subtraction? Okay. No. Let's see. What if we do overlay? No. That's not it. Soft light? Hard light? Okay, that's closer. But I think what I need to do is I need to take these purple spots and change them away from the purple. The purple's really nice and all, but I think it's too dark to be useful here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull out the swatches layer. And I'm just going to grab a lighter purple. I'm going to grab this, and currently we have this purple here. I'm just going to go one shade up. I think that'll be sufficient. but we'll see. And then I'm going to switch from the gradient tool to the bucket fill tool. Make sure that I'm on the border shape too. And just start filling in these purple layers. And you'll already notice that it makes a huge difference. Or at least it did up here. And see, that's the thing. It's making a huge difference in the lighter parts, but not in the darker parts. So, see, oops. Let's go to our swatches again. And this time, we're just going to grab the next purple up. And we're going to grab our bucket. And we're just going to go through again. Oops. We're just going to go through again and start filling these in. Oh, look at that. That's so much better. Look at that. Okay. What's going on down here? Okay, weird. Oops. Control Z. That's our nice vibrant purple. That's our blue. And this should be a nice vibrant purple. Okay. Cool. Now, you'll notice things like this. This is a little bit imperfect. Because of the way I did it, it's a little bit imperfect. But when you're looking at it here, no, it is visible. It is very visible. So what I'm just going to do then, I'm going to go back to normal for a second. And remember that I'm currently on hard light. Okay, so the light blue is overlapping a little too much here. That's what's happening. So I'm going to go back to hard light. I'm going to grab my brush. I'm just going to shrink my brush. Actually, you know what? I want to, for my ease, I'm going to move this entire layer group up here some. Oh, right. Layer, cropped content. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to go into here now. And I'm going to grab my brush. And I am just, oops. And I am just going to very carefully just kind of clean this up some. Oops. Control Z. Control Z. Edit. Undo paintbrush. Undo paintbrush. Undo paintbrush. Okay. I'm out of undos. Okay, so I'm now going to alpha to selection, and then I'm going to work on cleaning this up. It's okay if I overlap it and it gets dark like that. I kind of like that a little bit, to be perfectly honest. Okay. And then we're going to come over here. Which side is overlaying incorrectly? Let's go ahead and go to normal. It's the light blue. The light blue is overlaying incorrectly. Okay. So we're going to go back into hard light. Oh, you guys don't see that menu either. Okay. And flip this over. No, this is purple. The blue is the one that's overlapping. Okay. Oops. I do want to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm just lining the teeth up here with the pixels that I'm editing. to make sure that I'm being nice and precise. Okay. Now that just looks terrible. Go back to normal for a second. Okay, so the blue is overlapping the purple. Alright, so I'm going back to... Now see this is where I can get lost for hours just trying to get something perfect. I am on the wrong color. Flip. Okay. Suppose it makes sense that it's the blue that's overlapping. There. Nice, look at that. Nice, clear separation. No major blemishes. We're just going to go around looking for any major blemishes that we want to clean out. We don't want any noticeable blemishes. Some blemishes are fine. It's not the end of the world to have a blemish. But you want them to be less noticeable. Okay, I see. Okay, and then see here. Again, I'm just looking for the noticeable blemishes, like this over here. There we go. Cool. That's pretty noticeable. That's the first one like this that I've seen where purple's overlapping and it's noticeably wrong. Wait, hold on. Nope, I've got that backwards. It was still the purple overlapping onto the blue. Okay, I stand corrected. I thought I flipped my color. I didn't. Okay. Alright, cool, cool. That part's done. Any other noticeable blemishes? Yes, right here. Okay. Let's see. Ooh. Hold up. What's going on here? I think I forgot to bucket fill this one. Okay. I'll just do this one up real quick then. By hand. Instead of with the bucket fill. Since I've already screwed that part up. Which one's the offender? Blue's the offender. Okay. Why is blue always the offender? Okay, cool. I think we've dealt with all the major blemishes. Let me go ahead and just hit Control-Shift-A. All right, cool. Now, here's the problem with this particular border, it is not separate from the background enough. It is blending in with the background enough that it's a problem. I'm just going to merge this down because I do still want to keep this. So I'm going to go ahead and merge this down so that it stays like this forever. I locked that in. I'm then going to alpha to selection. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to select and hit grow. And I'm going to grow it by... let's go 3 pixels. And then I'm going to go to swatches. And I'm going to grab me this dark purple. I'm going to hide swatches. I'm going to scroll in here. As you can see, there's a really thin border. I need to increase the layer of the border here. Layer, boundary size, layer to image size. I'll change that back afterwards. But I just want to get in a 3 pixel border to help this stand out. And look at that. It's terrible. I hate it. I'm going to try something different. Now, don't get me wrong. It looks fine, actually. My problem with it is that it just, even with that thin border, it just gets lost in the background. And I don't like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and hide that. I'm going to come up here and create a new layer group, which I am going to call unused borders. Just in case I decide to do something with it later. Okay, cool. And we're just going to hide that layer. We can go ahead and set that to show when we show the layer, but I don't particularly want that. So I'm going to go ahead and alpha to selection again. And once again, I am going to select and I'm going to grow. And we're going to grow by 10 pixels. And I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to fill this layer with black. And then I'm going to grab my screenshot and say alpha to selection again. I'm going to say shrink once again by 5 pixels. I'm going to switch back to the border shape layer and press delete. And this time I'm going to leave my border shape layer as the only border shape layer. And I'm going to hit a new layer. And then right click, alpha to selection, and just hide that. Let's go ahead. I think, honestly, the pipes are really good, but I really want to find something different. Let's go ahead and try this. Let's do a bilinear like so. Light to dark. Okay. And then what? I'm scrolling through a menu. You guys can't see it, but I am. Hold on. What's these down here? View as grid. Open gradient selection dialog. Oh! Look at that. You guys can actually see this over here. This is the gradient selection dialog, the thing I was just looking through. There's nothing in here I really want, though. Yeah. So, let's go ahead, do bilinear. No, I want to do pipes. I just think they look good. We're going to try out the dimpled ones, though. I've never used the dimpled ones. We're going to give that a shot. Okay. So we're going to use this as our saturation lines, you might say. And we're going to go ahead and just press return. Oops. We're just going to press return to settle this. Come on. We're going to hit return. No. We're going to click the movement arrows. The move tool, because that'll switch us off of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer. And this is where I'm going to put in the color. I'd like to try having a little bit of fun with something. So I'm going to go into the swatches. Going to grab this color. And then I'm going to come over here. And I am just going to grab my paintbrush. I'm going to increase my paintbrush. And I'm just going to put down several random spots. And then I'm going to go back to the swatches layer. I'm going to grab the equivalent blue. I'm going to come over here and again, I'm just going to, oops, put in a bunch of random spots. Some of them right next to it, some of them not. Okay. Alright, cool. And now we're going to grab a darker purple and go with the paintbrush, and we're just going to fill in some of these areas. Like so. We're going to try to avoid creating a repeating pattern. I know this seems very haphazard, but I promise there's a method that I'm trying to do here. So now I'm going to go back over to my swatches and I'm going to grab the darker blue. And once again, we're just going to grab the paintbrush. No, you know what? I lied. This time we're going to grab the bucket fill. And we're just going to fill in. Well, that worked way better than I expected it to. It filled in way more than I thought it would. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to hold up. That's what I thought. Oops. No, you know what? That's fine, actually. I don't think that'll be very noticeable and might even add some character to it. Okay, so now we've got our shape with a bunch of different swatches on it. Now, you know what? I am going to go ahead and grab the brush and just do that. Oh, oops. Alpha to selection. Turns out I should have done it this way to begin with. Oh, shoot. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Right click. Alpha to selection. I'm drawing on the wrong layer. That's what I'm concerned about. You know what? Actually, that's a good idea. Control Z. Let's create another layer below this one. And just bucket fill that layer to guarantee that everything is filled with a color. And then we'll merge that down. And then we are going to go to mode. And I'm once again going to do the hard light. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. We now have a border using the colors from the background that doesn't look like it's part of the background. And if we go to 100% zoom, this is what it looks like at full 1080i. Okay. We're going to go ahead and hide the swatches, and we're going to take the game capture, and we're going to put it, layer, crop to content, and we're going to put it right here. Now, I do just want to show you guys, if I go ahead and hide these, and then put this on the, layer, crop to content, and set this over here, it just doesn't look the same as when it's in a border. It looks a lot better when it's in a border. It also moves it away from the edges some, so that the edges are close to the border. And that's really what you want. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S to save it before I break anything. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start doing some renaming. So I'm going to change visible copy to background. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to delete this black layer labeled background. There we go. Background. And this is going to stay game capture. I'm going to change migrate game to sample. And then I'm going to hide it. Border shape is hidden. I know what that is. That's fine. We're going to change this border shape to border gradient. And we're going to change this one to border color. And I'm actually going to go to the beginning and type in GC space on everything in here. So the things that aren't in the game capture folder, it'll have unique names from them. Which reminds me, unused border. Okay. And then GC sample. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hit File, Export. We're going to create a new folder that we're going to call Purple Loops Export. Okay. And we're going to call this background .png and export. Some people like to use JPEG. I don't like the interlacing that happens in JPEG, so I use PNG. It's a personal preference. You can play around with it and see what you like, but I don't like PNG more perfectly preserves my creative decisions. So I prefer it. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this screen, scene. Duplicate. We're going to call this a test scene. And I'm going to hit OK. And I'm just going to change the backdrop to the new backdrop. Shared. Overlays unused. Purple loops export and background. Okay. So now we've got that background. I'm also going to change the game capture border. Let's see here. Where's my game capture border? Game border. Here we go. Oh, shoot. I need to export it first. One moment. Okay, back to GIMP. So now we're going to show the background. Hide the background and show just this border. I'm going to go File, Export as GC border. And export. And now, in OBS, I'm going to just change the game border. Oh, shoot. You know what I just remembered? I just remembered I'm an idiot. And I need to fix this. Okay. Okay, so I need to change main background back. Because that is a referenced file that is used on each of my scenes, rather. So I'm just going to come back over here, and I want main background open. And okay. All right. So now I'm going to hit the plus. I'm going to add a new image capture instead, or image instead. And we're going to call this purple. No, we're going to call this test background. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to overlays unused, purple loops, and background. Okay. Cool. Now, of course, this is taking up the entire screen. I'm just going to drag it down here. And then remove the main background. And boom. There we go. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we are going to create another new layer. That is going to be an image. Oh, shoot. You know what I didn't do? I didn't check unload image when not showing. I always uncheck unload image when not showing just to save on processing power. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer. A new image capture, and we're going to call it GC border. We're going to hit OK. We're going to go to Browse, and we're going to grab GC border, open, OK. And then we're just going to drag this down here. And we're going to delete the game border. Yes. Okay, now you may have noticed there's a size difference. You can see it before that the other border was just generally smaller. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my window capture here. And I'm going to, oops. Let me try that again. Here we go. And I'm just going to lower it until it looks like it's in the right spot. Okay. And then I'm going to pull in the right-hand side. Then I'm going to lower it again. Now, unfortunately, my GIMP capture is not 1080p. All right. So, the next thing we need is a title border. So I'm going to go ahead and go back over here to GIMP. We're going to re-show the background so that I can see everything in context. Do I want to create a glow effect to make this even easier to see? Is this easy enough to see? Or is it getting lost in the background colors? I feel like it's getting lost a little bit in the background colors still. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go ahead and go to GC border color. And we're going to alpha to selection. We are going to grab my movement tool and move this up here. More centered so we have more space. And I'm going to, again, right-click alpha to selection. I am going to go layer. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and hit a new layer that we're going to call GC Shadow. Okay. And you know, actually, I'm going to take the shape of this entire group instead. I'm right-clicking on it and selecting alpha to selection. Now I'm going to go ahead and just go select, and we're going to grow, and we're only going to grow by about 3 pixels, I think. Okay, and then we're going to hide everything else. We're going to switch to black. And we are going to do another gradient. Gradients are your best tool. In all honesty, gradients are great. Oh shoot, I can't see if anybody's chatting. I got so absorbed in what I was doing, I hid the chat. Okay. Let's see here. I think I want shaped spherical, but oh right. This is one of those situations where I'm going to go foreground to transparent. I'm going to reverse it. But I want it to go out further than that. See this little dot here? We can drag this dot one way or the other to affect how far the black bleeds. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Now we're going to go back to move layer. We're going to show everything again. And we're going to drag the shadow below everything. Cool. Now you can't see it, so what's the point, you might be thinking to yourself. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to create a couple more guides. We're going to go guides, and this time we're going to do new guide by percent. We're going to get a horizontal line exactly in the middle. And we're going to get new guide by percent, a vertical line exactly in the middle. We're going to take our game capture. We're going to layer, crop to content. And we are just going to set this exactly in the center. And we're going to Control Shift A so we don't have the selection anymore. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the shadow. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So about 9 pixels seems to be the trick. Okay. Then I'm going to click up here. And I'm just going to move this back down here. And now if you look, it has, let me hide the guides. View, hide guides. And I switch over to here. Now if you look, this has a small shadow, which rests in that 10% line. This will help it to stand out a lot better. Sometimes it's nice just to add a shadow to help something really stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and file. Oh, shoot. I'm going to hide the background. And I'm going to hide the sample so that all we see is this. You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm going to draw a box here. And gonna go to the shadow, and I'm just gonna press delete. Clear out that shadow that's in there. This way, when something's sitting on it, it doesn't look awkward. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna see how that looks first. Okay. And we're going to File, Export to GC border. And that's going to update here very shortly in OBS as well. It's already updated on my side. You know what? Actually doesn't look bad with the window capture on top of it. That's what I was concerned about. We are going to have to move it to the right a few pixels. There we go. Cool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. We're actually going to put the window capture above the border so that it's easier to see. Yeah, that's nicer. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Okay. Oh, no. See, that's a problem, actually. Okay. Okay, yeah, no. That's that. I see. I've made a mistake. We are gonna go back in here and clear out that middle. Just because this has to be over the capture to make sense. So I'm just gonna clear that out, and I'm gonna hit Control E, which will export it to the exact same place it was before. And then I'm gonna go back to OBS. And yeah. Yep. I think what I will do also, though, is I'm going to go to background. And within the same selection, I'm going to do another gradient. I don't care about how far it goes out, to be honest with you. So this is actually fine for me. Whatever it is, it's fine. And then I'm going to hide the game capture border. Oh, come on. I forgot to... I want to go down here. I want to create a new layer that I'm just going to call GC under shadow. Okay. And then we're going to do one of these. And then we're going to file. Oops. Then we're going to hide the game capture. Then we're going to file, export as, and this one's just going to be background. And we're going to replace it. Yep. Okay, and export. And now, this happens sometimes. For some reason, when I go to, when I make a change, OBS doesn't immediately change the picture like it should. So all I do is I just double click on it, and then I go reselect the, I double click on the layer that's a problem. In this case, test background. And I just grab the correct file and hit OK. I don't know why this happens from time to time, but it does. Easy fix, not a problem. Okay, so now we have a method, but we need measurements because everything has been kind of haphazard as far as measurements go, but from here on, we want to make sure that we are doing everything in a standardized fashion. So, I'm going to go ahead, bring back our game capture, and our GC sample. Okay. And we're going to select none. And I'm going to start taking some measurements. So I want to know how far it is from the top of this to the top of here. Okay, so this stretch right here, I want to know how big this is. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my measuring tool, which I forgot where they moved. Right here, okay. And I'm just going to get a measurement from here to here. Come on, that can't be right. Do 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 do. Okay, so once I've measured this, if I look down here, beside where I can change, select a percentage, I can see 282 pixels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that by 2, bringing us to 141. So I'm going to go image, guides, new guide. It's going to be a horizontal guide at 141. Okay. I'm not seeing the guides right now. Right, I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to show guides. There we go. All right, now this is halfway between... Actually, you know what? I want to subtract 9 from that for the shadow. I think. Do I want it to have its own separate shadow, or can its shadow be a part... You know, I don't think it needs its own separate shadow. I take it back. Yeah, okay. I do want to add 10 to it, though, because I didn't take into account that, this here. Now, to do that, I'm just going to switch back to the move tool. And I'm just going to drag this one. Oh. I'm going to switch to pick layer or guide, and I'm just going to drag this guide off the board. And then I'm going to go image, guides, new guide. Now we had 141. We want to add 10 to it to accommodate the exterior border. So we're just going to set it to 151 instead. Okay, and there we are. So now this is exactly halfway between here and here, which is exactly what I want. Now for the next part. So I want to make sure that I have a guide that is exactly halfway across this game capture. So I'm going to right-click Game Capture Sample on the right-hand side, and I am going to go to Scale Layer. Now when I do that, I get a menu that you guys can't see, unfortunately. I'm gonna for the scaling, and I'm looking at the pixels, and I can see that this is 1,344 pixels wide. So if I divide that by 2, that's 650, 670, 672. So 672 pixels wide. All right, so I'm going to once again go to my guides, new guide, and I said that was 672. But I need to add on 10 pixels for the border that we're not touching. So that becomes 682. And then I need to add on 9 more pixels for the shadow. So we're going to go ahead and take that away. We're going to add 9 to 682, which is going to be 691. And we're going to hit OK. Oops. Gonna hit undo. And then new image, new layer, Sorry, guides. New guide. I need to change this to vertical before I hit OK. And as you can see, that's almost perfectly down the center of her face because it's that the game has it slightly offset. But yeah, either that or I'm slightly off on my approximation. I'm not off on my approximation, am I? Let's see here. Scale layer. Go to pixels. It's 1344 wide. Okay. And then from here to here is 15 pixels. Okay. And then from here to here is 12 pixels, not 9. Okay. Okay. Is this also 12 pixels? That's fine if it is, because it looks good. I just want to make sure I'm doing things right. Okay, so this is 12 pixels down. Okay, that's where my approximation is off. Okay. Alright, so we need to move this one over another, what? Let's see, I was doing 9, so it's just an additional 3 pixels. Now, I could delete it and remake it. That's an option. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the Move tool. I'm going to grab this. And if you look at the bottom, you can see it says Move Guide. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag it until it says 3, like so, and then let go. And then that should be our actual center. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay, nice. And then this will give us the framework we need for additional borders, which we're going to have to get to at a later point because it's 4:53, which is too close to 5 o'clock for me to keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and let things go here. I'm just going to hit a Control S to save this. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I know it's a little bit different from what I normally do. I might do this again next Tuesday. It was rather enjoyable just sitting here. Oops, wrong one, main page. Nope, display capture. There we go. Nope, try again. Not a game. There we go. Maybe I should use the display capture, to be perfectly honest with you. Because then you guys can see things like me clicking on menus. That should actually show up now. But anyways, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see that there's a Who's That Pokemon, as there is every time. I want to show you what that Pokemon is, so I'm going to go over to OBS here, and I'm going to hit my Pokemon reveal button. It's Rufflet! I forgot to set what gen it was introduced in. Give me a second. I don't still have the Cerebi page open. Cerebi.net. And Rufflet. Okay. Okay, so it was introduced in Gen 5. Rufflet was introduced in Gen 5. According to a Scarlet Pokedex, they pick fights indiscriminately. They grow stronger and more powerful each time they faint or are injured, so they're Saiyans. And according to the Violet Pokedex, with its sharp claws, this Pokemon pierces its prey, and then it pecks at them. Although it also consumes berries, it's a carnivore at heart. I understand that. But I want to thank you guys very much for watching. If you're watching me here on Twitch, please hit that follow button. I really appreciate it when you do. If you're following me over on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. While I am live, you can find music attributions in a panel below. If I'm doing music like I am today. And of course, in YouTube, you can find it in the description below. Also, you should be able to find my link to my link tree, which is also in the info panel above my avatar. The link tree, should you go to it, you'll find links to this Twitch channel, this YouTube channel, Dogtar's TikTok, the Twitter, for as long as that sticks around, and our Patreon. If you go to the Patreon and you become a founding kobold, we will remember you fondly as we expand, and we will find ways to make it worth you having been with us since you were founding kobold. I don't know how long that founding kobold's going to be available, so please, if everybody could pile in on that, who wants the founding kobold benefits that will come in the future. Keep in mind that that tier's not always going to be there. That is there for the people who help us get our start. But I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night.